Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the intersection of art and technology. Let's begin. So, what is Tiat? Tiat is a creative tech salon series that I started mostly because I wanted to see more creative technology in San Francisco. And we've hosted this in a myriad of places, and I'm so grateful and ecstatic to be hosting it here at the Internet Archive. You might be familiar with Wayback Machine, which is an incredible initiative in archiving websites and the Internet's history. They also do free tours on Fridays at 1 p.m. Highly recommend you checking them out. This building is nutty, but it gets even nuttier. So yeah, thank you so much to the Internet Archive. We love you. All right, so here's the schedule for today. We have an incredible lineup of some really amazing people, and the premise is everyone gets 5 minutes to talk about their art demo. No startups, no companies. So without further ado, let's begin. I'm going to go first. So, all right. So, hi everyone. My name is Ash. I go by Impawa online, and I'm an artist. I really love new media art, interactive installation, and today I want to tell you about my project called Body Language. Yeah, I really love interactive installation because of how it really inspires the user to become a part of the art in some way, and it makes an art experience kind of take a life on its own. And so, are any of you familiar with r/bad UI battles? Anyone? Well, it's a Reddit thread of people trying to make the worst UI, UX experiences imaginable. So here we have, entering a phone number in the most demonic way. And then these are examples of like, how do we increase volumes in the most fun way possible. So inspired by this, I made this installation called Body Language, where you use your, whoa, you can see my note. Sorry. Basically, this installation called Body Language is where you use your body to communicate with the computer. So I made it by training an ML model on body poses in association with a letter in the alphabet. And then I had an installation where people were just using their bodies to create messages on the computer. And it was really messy, but I feel like that plays into some of the challenges we often face with interpersonal communications with each other and the computer. But yeah, I showed this at a showcase at Gray Area last year, and it was really fun. And then I also made a web version of this installation, which we can try here together. Hopefully it works. Oh! Thank you so much. And that's my demo. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Spencer Chang. I'm a little out of it because I got in from an early flight this morning, so excuse me if I space out for a moment. I'm an artist and engineer, and broadly my work all focuses around computers and people. I care about the connection and play and creation that computers and technology as a medium can bring to our relationships with each other. And the project I'm going to be sharing a little bit with you about today is called AcknowledgeNET. It started from reflecting on how I spend my time on the internet, and I'm sure a lot of you here, I look at a lot of internet comments, and I like the comments almost more than the content that I see, because you can sort of find every aspect of humanity in them. You can find, like things like short stories in an Amazon comment, or jokes in the recipe, or really intimate stories, or these spontaneous connections between anonymous people. And it's not really clear how much of this content that makes up the internet is made up by us. We sort of think about internet creators as the large platforms that form the internet, even though so much of the content that we consume every day is from each other. And so I wanted to try to make something that honored how much of our labor made up the internet and honor the fact that we can sort of find this connection wherever we go. And also highlight the fact that these contributions that we make often can disappear at any moment. They're tied to the platforms upon which we make them on. And still, despite that treacherous footing, we still contribute. And so the concept of this, I had this idea of like what the museum label for the internet would look like if you presented it in a historical context, and how could it like pay tribute to all of these anonymous like usernames that you see on the internet. And so I'll show you a snippet of, this is from a website that you can visit that's in the corner. Okay, so this is like a snippet from the runtime, basically. Wow, this quality is not good, but I'm just gonna let this play for like 30 seconds.
Some songs from Egan reps.
And so basically here is what I came up with for what the label for the internet would look like. It's sort of an endless reel of comments, and instead of sort of forcing you to scroll past them quickly, it tries to give you some time to sit with each one. And the video and content and fade in and out so that you can see what they are in reference to. And basically, in addition to showing these comments and honoring them, I also wanted to address the part about the fact that they might disappear at any time. And so I was thinking about some pieces that have inspired me where you watch a machine perform as part of a performance. So on the left is a piece called Can't Help Myself by Sun Yuan and Ven Qiu. And it's this machine that is forced to continue to clean up this red liquid that looks like blood. And so to collect all these comments, I basically built an open source library that my computer would run in a sort of performance to archive these comments and sort of capture all the data that they have. So even if YouTube takes down a video, those comments stay in this open database. So I'll play this for a little bit. This is like a video I recorded of after trawling through a lot of internet comments and getting the link to save them. This is my computer running this program that automatically goes to each link one by one. And I sort of manually mapped out where, for a given site like Google Maps or Amazon or YouTube, what each of the data, what like DOM selector it's in. And so this computer knows to go and retrieve all of that and archive that to the database. And so you can see on the right here, like the terminal log, and see exactly what it's archiving. And there's sort of a fun like exercise here in making the computer feel a little more human in this performance. Normally, when you run this sort of automation software, it doesn't open up a browser. It doesn't, the computer doesn't have a mouse. But it was fun to program in the mouse and like give you a sense of where it's looking. So that was AcknowledgeNET, and this is sort of pictures from the installation view at Gray Area early this year. You can see on the front side, there's the comments view that you saw earlier next to this router that is labeled the internet. And if you go around the wall to the back, there's a place for you to watch the computer during the archival. That's placed on a pedestal, and if you sit there, you're invited to add your own comments to this piece. And that's it. That's my demo. You can find me on the internet at spencer.place, and I would love to see your comments if you have any. It's a very long URL, but if you go there, you can submit links to comments. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Jess, and I am interested in textiles and the connection between digital and analog. And I'm here today to talk about my project, Fabric Memory, which is a knit soundscape and collage. So, a year ago I was on BART, and I was coming home after a really good day with friends, and they were playing live jazz at the Montgomery BART station. And you could smell the fresh BART air, and just like, it was a great experience. And from that day on, I always remember the feeling of going home with that song. And I can remember where I was on BART and what these little physical sensations. And that kind of got me thinking more, because I tend to do best with concepts and then kind of percolate out into different things, about how the body stores and remembers experiences, but good experiences that, they call them glimmers, that bring you happiness and calm, that help you regulate your body, but particularly in how it's stored in like what you smell and just like these very tactile sensations, like a moment of pure presence. And tying that back all together, thinking about how our clothes and the materials that we use, how they remember things. Like we wear things, but they wear us. And what is the memory of a fold or a wrinkle? Then how does that carry that physical sensation as well? So the clothes that I have, for example, when I was smelling the BART air and listening to live jazz a year ago, what is the memory that it has of that experience and of the days that have kind of trickled by? And how can we use that? And so I think I tend to really record and remember lots of different things on my phone. So you can see some personal clips here, but also voice notes. And I think it's interesting to look back, and you can tell I have a lot of clips about rain on my phone, but they're from different contexts. So this first one is on my brother's birthday, another time is from after work, and they're all the same sound, but with different emotional contexts. And thinking about how sound echoes and brings back these emotional cues. So then, going back to like the physical sensation, bringing up and being linked to emotion is really important. So collaging these things was really interesting to me. Moving forward, I started then thinking about knits. So this is like the other arm of this project. And what is a surface or textile that would invite play and also fit technical specs? So as you can tell, I was playing around with like material, tension, elastic, and something that's really important is understanding how resistance is generated. And so with knits, you can control different types of tensioning through the material. So playing around with, if you add elastic to it, would that change the experience? Would you want to fold it? Would you want to interact with it? So on all these different levels, the physical sensation of holding and you interacting with something, but how is it tied to the emotional as well? And so ultimately, I hope it shows up, I made this file of these different video clips and audio things that you can play with a knit. And I also was chewing when I was recording this, so if you hear chewing sounds, it was me. So yeah, the fish are from my grandparents' home, and the tree is from my current backyard. And so personally to me, it's a sentiment of all these memories coming together. But I think it's really interesting if everyone were to like collage their own experiences and their own smell of the Bart air into different things. It'd be really cool. So that's my demo.
Hi everyone, I'm Riley. I really like Shazam. I'll have this feature that Shazam has called Auto Shazam on a lot when I'm at like a party or a restaurant or a club or something, because at the end of the night I have this playlist of all the songs I heard, and I can come back to it later and listen to it, and it reminds me of where I was, kind of similar to what Jess, you kind of feel where you were and who you were with, and it's kind of cool. So I always thought it'd be cool to actually go and set this up in a fixed location 24/7. Shazam all the time. So I actually did this. I bought a box, an old Android phone, some brackets and clamps and a solar panel, and put it all together and made the phone Shazam 24/7. And then I installed it on a pole in the Mission at this very chaotic square. And it's kind of covert. You can't really see it, but it blends in. And inside, yeah, there's the phone, the solar panel. The panel produces more than enough power it needs to actually operate. It's waterproof, all of that. And then I actually went and installed this at like noon on a Saturday. Like no one will stop you if you just wear a safety vest. And this was like over a month ago, and it's still up. And I can show you kind of what I made a website that actually shows the playlist. So this is Bop Spotter. I called it this because SF and a lot of other cities have technology called Shot Spotter, which detects gunshots and can alert police where shots have been fired. So I thought it'd be kind of funny just to call it Bop Spotter because it's picking up bops instead of shots. And yeah, you can scroll through and see every song, and actually it picks up a lot. So you can see it's picked up almost 5,000 songs, an average of 135 a day. And yeah, I can actually go and see all of them and then play the track. Play this song. It might pop up at the end. Okay, it was probably really hard to hear, but I could just barely hear it at the end. The Shazam algorithm is really, really, really good, and I encourage you, if you're interested in this kind of thing, like read about how the Shazam algorithm works. It's really, really cool. So yeah, that's that. And then I shared this online, and this was just something fun I did on a weekend, but I shared it, and it got kind of a lot of attention, and it was pretty cool to see how music and kind of surveillance can come together and make like a really captivating idea. I think it's kind of cool because you kind of feel like a spy looking at it, but it's just music that people are already blasting in public anyway, so you don't feel dirty about it. But yeah, it picks up people when they're driving by in a car, they can blast music, or when they're walking by with a speaker. And if you've been in the Mission, you know that people are blasting music all the time, which makes it a great place to put something like this. So I actually, this is kind of escalated. I'm making 15 more. And these will go in all these cities. People reached out from all these places saying that they'd install it if I sent one to them. So this week I'm actually going to mail one Bop Spotter to each of these cities, and then we'll be able to compare and contrast different cities and see how music changes. And it'd be cool to do some correlation with like maybe how temperature affects music, sentiment analysis on like the energy of the public square over time, and yeah, so that's Bop Spotter. It's my website and my Twitter. I'm Riley. Thank you.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been my whole life since my last good meal. God has made our fellow beings so beautiful, and somehow I turn them into early trash. Father, I'm desperate. I've watched every cooking video on YouTube. I've read Cooking for Dummies.
An Egan sandwich! An Egan sandwich, Chef Ramsay!
No, it didn't work.
My child, have you considered factor meals?
That's your spiritual guidance? Factor meals?
Well, it's either that or divine intervention.
Good night, you guys.
What do I always say? Anyone can cook.
Les poils étaient漂亮, les vitons j'étais.
Thanks, guys. So that was put together last night, thanks to Rajan and Heather, who's somewhere over there. But yeah, I'm Athena. I enjoy building things. I particularly enjoy building things for learning and helping us understand the world. This is not that. But yeah, this is ratatouille in real life. I built this with some housemates, many of whom are here. So we basically took a Remy plushie and we unstuffed it. This is not the video clip I'm looking for. This is the video clip I'm looking for. So yeah, we unstuffed the Remy plushie and we like made this contraption that has like 2 servos and like each servo controls an arm. And so now we have Remy which moves. And yeah, so this is the end result. I have it also on my head and it should also work. But if I can find a switch to turn it on, which is a little difficult because I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, forget it. You guys can see it later. So it's pretty cool, it's pretty neat, but it doesn't really control me, right? It's just like kind of moving. And I can't get this scene from ratatouille out of my brain.
Whoa! That's strangely involuntary.
I really wanted the strangely involuntary kind of feeling, the out of the world, out of my body kind of feeling. And it turns out the solution is like at a CVS next door. So this is a TANS machine, stands for like transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation machine. And it turns out that, so it has like an electro pad and this like controller. And it turns out that if you put them at just the right muscle, in this case like your arms here, and if you set it at a frequency that's higher than intended, not recommended at all, you can actually like make it move your muscle. So this is the first time we got it to work.
Whoa! Oh my god!
Oh. And so of course, once I found out that this is a thing, you then have to connect it to the mouse. So there is a ESP32 in Remy, and whenever Remy fires a signal in one of his arms, it gets received by the ESP32 in the TANS machine, and when the green light lights up, basically it's like sending an impulse. And so this is Remy controlling my arm. So now in theory, we can teach Remy how to cook. So if you think about it, cutting using a knife is just like repeated arm movements, right? So by setting the different frequency and different amplitude, I can make it teach me different moves. So this is me cutting.
That's a pretty good cut, actually.
And like flipping a pan is just like at like random intervals, just like send this huge impulse where you go like. So this is what happened.
Oh my god, I lost a tomato.
And so my housemates and I tried to make a dish with Remy having controlling me, and I made a video. If you can get there.
I'm trying to fight this other force. Lots of tomato. Serve it. Oh my god. What do you think?
It's a lot of sodium.
Oh,
But no, it's better than what you usually cook.
oh my god.
Anyways, thank you. This is my social. You can find me on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. And also, huge shout out to Raja and Herr, who helped me make that video, Liz, who had to eat my food, Anna and Kevin, who helped to build Remy. Thanks, guys.
Hi, I'm Ninon Lizé-Masclef. I'm a media artist and AI/neuroscience researcher at MIT Media Lab. I'm very happy to share with you here my artwork Strange Loop, a brain-computer interface that translates emotional state into colorful light and generative music. I was inspired by the electric field generated by our neurons, which neuroscientists amplify so as to study our emotional states. So I designed Strange Loop with this analogy in mind between amplifying electric fields and amplifying feelings. My goal was to create a window into the self, a new language of the imperceptible that reveal what is invisible or unspeakable. So now let me show you a glimpse of my brainwave music performance where I control the light and the music with my brainwave activity. All live. Huh?
Hi, my name is Danielle, and my project is called The Advice Line. And it's basically a hotline you can call to get advice. To give advice. So there's a lot of hotlines that exist where you call because you want help on a question you have, you want to get advice on something. But I thought it would be fun to sort of subvert the expectations where you think that you're calling to get advice, but instead you're asked to give advice. So in order to get callers, I put up a bunch of vague flyers around San Francisco, just saying, this is the advice line, call this number. And people would see this and basically just assume that if they call this mystery number, they would be getting advice. But then instead, I will quickly demo. So if you call the number.
Thanks for picking up the advice line. I'm so glad we reached you, because we could really use your help. There's a lot of issues we need advice on, and time is of the essence. You will be connected shortly.
Hello, I need advice.
So after the robo voice, it goes into a pre-recorded ask for help on mostly like really silly problems, but they're all real problems that my friends have, such as, I keep getting chased by squirrels, or I don't own enough bowls, or my roommate, regular Alex, hates that there's a guy we call Cool Alex. And the person records their advice, and then after that, they're sent to the main menu, where they can press 1 to learn more, 2 to give more advice, 3 to ask for advice, 4 for the Advice Line official merch, or 5 to be sent on a wild goose chase. And so if you select 4, you'll be texted a link to theadviceline.org, which is a website I built to sort of build the lore around this like mystery like number they found on the street. You can find merch like a t-shirt, the same t-shirt but more expensive, the crop top for when you want less shirt, and booty shorts for when you're feeling saucy, as well as some like very unhelpful FAQs that don't really answer any questions, but just kind of add to the lore of like what this is. And then if you select 5 to be sent on a wild goose chase, there's just this very like elaborate phone tree that has correct and incorrect answers. It takes like 10 to 30 minutes to solve, just like very, very annoying to get through, including kicking you out and making you give more advice if you want to get back in and finish the phone tree. And all this is like in the soothing tone of a robo voice. So basically, yeah, I had a bunch of audio clips from my friends asking for advice, and then strangers giving advice, so I thought it would be fun to put it together and make a song. So I'll play that.
Hello, I need advice. So my sister is dating this guy, Mark, who is married. And the wife knows about this, because they're like separated, but not divorced. My sister was like, hey Mark, you need to get divorced by December. Since then though, the wife has been coming over, staying at their apartment, and my sister is just there sleeping on an air mattress in the living room while they are in Mark's room. And then it turns out that he is also cheating on my sister separately with 2 women who are not the wife. And I'm trying to figure out if I should send bees to his house, because kind of fuck this guy. Anyway, bees, wasps, what do I do? Need advice. Thank you.
Send all the bees, mama.
Send the bees. Send the bees. Bees. We go bees. We even bees. I think wasps are more painful. Painful.
I think maybe send the bees under someone else's name or anonymous.
That would be my advice, is chili powder. Chili powder in the underpants, chili powder in the kitchen. But yeah, no bees. That would be bad if you like ended up killing him.
What you can do is next time you show up, you drip a little bit of like tinned fish juice all over the floor.
Hide a piece of fish in the microwave, you know?
Yeah, and just make sure to cover your tracks.
Dump him.
Dump him. We wish you the best. Yeah, be safe out there.
Good luck, gang.
Bye.
Are these real questions? I really... Very silly.
Okay, yeah.
Hello, I need advice.
Okay, so yeah, if you want to check it out, you can call this number. Thank you.
My name is Ven Qiu, and I'm here to show you Duump Site. A little bit about me. I am a memory worker and creative technologist. I use tattooing and new media to explore the textures of memory and new archival practices. But today we're not going to talk about tattoos, we're going to talk about trash. So I made this site called Duump Site with 2 other people. It is an online archive of files from the trash folder and recently deleted. And we take all sorts of files, media files like video, photo, sound, but also documents, applications, torrents. So I'll take you a little bit through this website, and then hopefully I'll have time to talk about like the conceptual goals behind it. So here's Duump Site. You can see all of the submissions on the homepage on this conveyor belt style scrolling thing. And if you were so interested in one piece of trash, you could click on it and you could see the metadata like the file name, the file type, upload date, and description added by the uploader. But you could also participate in the communal tagging effort of this archive and add any tags that you see fit. We're pretty laissez-faire about what tags you can put. You know, any subjective associations you might have, feel free to put there, barring hate speech, of course. And then if you wanted to contribute to the collection, you could upload and write a description and add whatever tags you see fit. So this collection is managed by Dorothy Tang and myself. I'm behind the concept and just organizing of the website, and I'm also writing an essay about digital trash and cyber gleaning to accompany this. But let me show you my favorite feature of this site. Be warned, it is a very high sensory experience, so if you want to plug your ears, feel free to do that now. But this is a sort of way to make alive the conveyor belt and experience the brunt of digital trash, smell the stench of digital trash. Once I press play, it's going to play all of the media files that are on screen at once and pan through the collection.
Give me more life. He gives 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 me more life.
Okay, so that's what the texture of digital trash looks like in this moment. We are committing to like 5 years of trash collecting, and I'm excited to see what every year's trash looks like. And why am I doing this? I think that collecting digital trash showcases the archaeological value of it. Digital trash is able to capture life with a fidelity that physical trash can't. Like if you looked at a city's physical trash, you might be able to see like, yeah, these people really like Doritos. There's like a rave going on this week. But with new media, it's able to capture like every fleeting interest that you have, the screenshots you take of conversations. Like this collection has breakup texts and like secondhand memes and some drafts of work from some people in this audience. And also, I think collecting digital trash showcases its ability to bridge a lot of dichotomies within materiality, privacy, time, and usefulness. Like when we delete something, we sort of think of it as just vaporizing into thin air, but by asking people to go through their own trash and pull that out, you sort of reinstate this file's thingness, and when you treat it like an archaeological object, it sort of solidifies that. And then finally, embracing messy archives as a way to foster meandering and hyperfictions. Collecting trash is kind of silly, and treating it like archival material is kind of silly, but that silliness frees us from traditional archival rigors and allows us to engage with archival material on a whim. And that way, like through the community tagging, we're able to foreground subjectivities and a more like affective angle of memory and culture. So to end, I'm going to read you a little poem made from some tags that have been added to the site. First pitch, early version, so much chromium. Boy, man, God shit, mustache man behavior, eye health, tier cartography, sparkly, fluffy, long distance relationship, husband of the year. Favorite, family gathering, West End Bonaventure, camo trans, disposable, okay. Creepy, wrinkly little guy, mortal enemy, ebooks are evil. Shout out Internet Archive. Holy Trinity, goat, fish top, shelf, bag low, test 3, local IP address, escape room, full moon. So, yeah, I think this is a really fun way to weave together hyperfictions through a very silly medium, and I hope you guys all add to the collection. The website is Duump.site. If you add anywhere between 2 to 10 U's, it will lead you to this website. I bought like all 8 domains. Yeah, this was designed by Robin O, if I didn't mention that. And then for the future, I'm hoping to finish this essay and also have a sort of residency program for new media artists to do new manipulations of this collection and also implement a search function, maybe with AI, like show me somber trash, like to search in a sort of affective textural way would be really cool. Thank you.
Hey, so it's awesome to be here. My name is Zach Lieberman. I'm an artist based in New York. I'm actually in town installing work at the Exploratorium, which will open in a few weeks, so I'm super happy to be here. And I'm also a teacher. I'm a professor at MIT Media Lab. I have a group called Future Sketches, looking at the future of tools for artists and designers using computation. I don't need audio. Yeah, cool. Okay. Oh, sorry. So I'm gonna. I don't want that. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Allow. Okay. Cool. All right. What's going on? So I'm going to talk to you today about daily sketching. For the last 8 years, I've been posting daily things on the internet. They're basically like short poems I write with code. Been doing it for 8 years. And the work is really inspired by these rules for students by Sister Karita Kent. My favorite, I share these with my students. My favorite one is Rule 7. The only rule is work. If you work, it will lead to something. I do a lot of experimentation with different kind of styles, light and reflection. So the work that I'm showing at the Exploratorium is all about light and reflection. My stepdaughter is like my art director. She tells me I've gone too far in one direction, so I go in another one. And I do something every day. And when you do something every day, you have to make shortcuts. And here's this kid. They had to write, I will make better choices over and over again. And you can see they've optimized it. The L is like a single line. And as an artist, when you do something again and again and again, those shortcuts become your style. They become who you are as a creator. The other thing, and I'll show you some sketches in a second. The other thing I was thinking of this kid, I saw him on the subway. He had a phone, a camera, and Snap spectacles, and I'm taking a photograph of him. And I kind of feel like also like you should just have cameras everywhere. So this is what my hard drive looks like. A lot of this. And I have one folder called Everyday, which has everything I've done every day. And the general premise behind daily sketching is to remix ideas, remix simple ideas. So I start with some idea like, I don't know, you only need 3 points to define a circle. So I'll start with a simple sketch like that. And then I'll try something weird like connecting it to a skeleton, connecting it to somebody walking, trying dance footage. I get inspired, like I got inspired by this design identity by Lava. And then I just try experimenting with it and push it in different directions. I often feel like I'm trying like volume knob 11 just to see what I can do with a different graphical idea. some curves, more curves, and remixing. You might have seen this. I'm not allowed to talk about it. Here's an idea. So usually when you learn to code, you learn about a bouncing ball bouncing off the walls. Well, what if the walls were bouncing off of the ball? So you kind of make the ball the center of the attention. So I start with an idea like this, and that's cool. But then, like, what if we had 10 of them? What's that going to feel like? What if we had 2 and we normalized? Ooh, whoa. What if we had 2 and we normalized them? What if we had 3? Gets a little weird. What if we had 4? Then it gets like super fucked up. More weird shit, breaking copyright stuff. Yeah. So I want to talk, I'll share one project, then I'm going to share something, which is I got really inspired doing sketching into printing, into actually making prints and making still images. So I do a lot of animation. And I'm really inspired by the artist Jack Whitten, who would make these like crazy constructions. Like he made paintings, but he wanted to make paintings in like 10 seconds. But he would take like days to make these elaborate constructions to make a painting. So I've been doing that, this kind of elaborate shader code to make images where I have like one piece of code and I push it in all kinds of directions to make images. And I was asked to do a project for the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. And so this is the songbook. So if you're interested in the music from the movie, this is the sheet music for the movie. And I took the same piece of code, and for every song in the movie, in the soundtrack, there's an accompanying image. So I made all the artwork for this songbook based on, I love the movie, so I got to listen to the soundtrack over and over again. And I'll show one more thing. Just been really inspired by sunsets, the color of sunsets, trying to capture that in code and figure out sort of computationally, what we could do with that. With my family, we were traveling in Maine. We spent some time living on a boat, and I was staring at the water, and I was thinking, there's no fucking way that I could code that, right? It's so beautiful, like what I'm seeing on the surface of the water. So I spent a lot of time, like, just staring at light on the water, and then got back to New York and just started to code and figure out, can I, in software in some way, could I capture the feeling of light and sunsets being reflected on water? So this is some examples of sketching in that domain. And then the end is a project, a kind of generative project with all of these sunsets, almost imagining like 100, like if you had a really nice summer and you were always paying attention to the sunset, and seeing it on the water, what would that feel like? So I post things on every day. I get a lot of feedback. Some of it is really weird and funny, gorgeous and nauseating. When I was young, I had a recurring nightmare that looked like this. But sometimes they're really beautiful. Like, I took time with these. This is like, you wouldn't know it, but this is time-based image, time-based work. And then finally, this is my favorite one. I had a bad day. I saw your work. My day is good now. Thank you. So that's why I do daily sketching.
Hi. I'm Chia Amisola. I'm an internet artist. Online, I am unfortunately known as Hot Emo GF. I'm going to be talking about websites and performances. And while I give a bit of context on my practice, if you have data, feel free to enter this on your phone browser if you would like to kind of see this participatory element. Feel free to just enter it and then put your phone in your lap or just hold it in your hands. And some sounds will play if everything works well. But I make internet art, simulations, websites as worlds, dance, and enveloping. I want to treat my desktop as a landscape. And I think my work in life is about the internet's loss, its love, its labor, and liberation, especially as situated within the third world experience. I've been making and performing websites like this for the past 2 years, thinking about hypertext as an active mode of engagement. My pieces always live in line, but I think they take new life when they're performed. I call this general practice internet ambient, where I think about questions like, what do we see as default? What is invisible on the web? How is our environment made? I manually rearrange the windows. I write tens of thousands of words in the code editor. The wrapping affects my enjambment. Every string in a data structure is a concrete poem in its own kind of way. I love to do things so laboriously, so humanly. What do we tend to? And where can we find a more intentional type of intimacy between ourselves on these sites and our machines? I think like my general thesis that I'm working towards is thinking perhaps the way we consume and gather around websites and the internet matters just as much as making new tools for creation. The performativity and cultural perception matters just as much, if not more. If we want to move towards a more poetic web, how do we read it for its poetics? So I'll be giving kind of like an intro of this performance that I did in New York a few weeks ago called Himala, which is Filipino for miracle. So it's this net art piece and durational performance that I debuted in New York a couple of weeks ago. And what I was doing is that if you see the video, it ran for basically almost 6 hours. It was a durational performance. And I was controlling several computers, performing sound live, reciting, clicking, playing, looping, lagging. I'm wondering how I can become an interface myself, in a way. In Himala, I took from Filipino Catholic rituals and mythologies that I grew up with, thinking about Marian apparitions, supernatural appearances of the Virgin Mary. And I was intertwining these questions of faith and religion with xenofeminism and cyberfeminist thoughts, thinking about this performance as a very embodied experience, literally stretching myself, becoming the machine, thinking about faith as a network. So it feels very appropriate to share snippets of this performance here. Light after grace, vows until light, meaning after grace, light after light. I think I just want to tell stories about computation, from the domestic to the divine. The hidden attributes of the browser, the pieces of it that you normally don't attend to becoming primary modes of reading. I was thinking that the servers and systems and sites that I rely on, everything that contains, is feminized, invisibilized, surveilled. After all, online, everyone is a girl. And when we appear, truly visibly, it appears to be a glitch. In the snippet of the live performance, I built like so many custom tools and software to perform the piece, wrote all these poems myself, and in whole, I'm working towards reinterpreting the mysteries of the rosary as net art pieces, because this line of thinking began from thinking of the rosary as infrastructure, and in a way, just thinking that technology is not incongruent with faith, that faith is perhaps a key part of it. I'm thinking about the apparitional nature of infrastructures and my body, myself. What it means when we appear as glitches. What glitch can mean when it is a form of resistance. I'm thinking about the way that technology reaches people at the peripheries in a unique way. When I perform, perhaps I'm dreaming to become an infrastructure myself, an interface between everyone. And I'm thinking, perhaps when things are so powerful, ubiquitous, and feminized, they tend to disappear. Have I been disappearing my whole life too? This is like a simplification of all of the themes that I've been thinking about in developing this performance. So I'm continuing to actually finish the net art piece, and I'm hoping to continue these very embodied live performances of websites and net artwork You can see I'm really testing the limits of my machine, because I think that means testing the limits of myself. But yeah, I will obviously only have 5 minutes, so I'm not reading all the text here, but if you click through once I put this online, there's thousands and thousands of words, and it's generative in its reading, and I love to combine this with other pieces. Again, wondering if the only way for me to appear online is to become so powerful that I appear to disappear. Thank you.
That's all we have for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. If you're interested in... Thank you. Yeah, give it up for everyone who talked. They're also amazing. Thank you so much. If you're interested to coming to more of these in the future, you can find us on Luma. There's a subscribe button on our page. And you can also find us on Instagram at tiat.place. Tiat stands for the intersection of art and technology. And yeah, I think we have a little more time in this space if you'd like to stay and chat a bit. My one ask of you is to make at least one new friend here. I started this because I wanted more creative technology community, so please turn to your neighbor, say hi. And yeah, thank you so much for coming to the intersection of art and technology today.